your data from one place to another, right? Let's suppose at a left hand side we'll have some processor and at a right hand side we'll have some input output devices. So if we want to establish connection between input output devices and those processor, will require some interface that will communicate between those input output devices and processor, right? Now after that we had also seen various peripheral device. So what do you mean by peripheral device? Peripheral device are the device on which you are able to take some input at, you are able to give input or you are able to fetch some output. For example, keyboard from which you are giving some input. For example, printer on which you are getting some output, right? After that, we had discussed this scenario where we had illustrated that how interface will look like and how it will work. After that, we had also discussed the working of interface, this 4 point, right? You can remember this 4 point. Further, yes, from this we need to remain to discuss. Okay. So here we are discussing that total how many major command that interface is receiving, or you can say it is approaching towards those command, right? So basically there are four type of commands which can be entertained by your interface, right? Your intermediate intermediate module. So here the first one is control command. So what do you mean by control command? Control command in that you are getting some information related to your control signal. So let's suppose here first is control command in that used to activate the peripheral and to inform it what to do. In short, in the control command, interface will give some command related to controlling of their working. So here either it will be activate or deactivate their regular working, right? Second, in second line they have provided the detailation for this point, like rewind the magnetic tape when it want to backspace the tape by one record. So for example, there is a need like this that you need to rewind your magnetic tape. So that information can be entertained with help of interface. Interface is responsible to tell your magnetic tape that what magnetic tape needs to perform. So here magnetic tape needs to rewind that tape, right? Just because we want to access some record, right? Or to start moving magnetic tape in the forward direction. Or else if our magnetic tape is in a pause mode, right, and you want to activate working of magnetic tape, so that can be illustrated or that can be activated with help of control command provided by interface. Okay. Now, second command that can be entertained by interface is status command. So used to test various status condition in interface and peripheral. For example, in printer you might relate this command better, that sometimes we'll get notification or status detail like printer is busy or printer is not ready, right? You might have heard this type of status command. So that is fine. The command is related to your printer, but that command can be understand, or you can say can be interpreted with help of this interface. So only interface is responsible to tell to the monitor that print this kind of message. So user will get idea that they might have choose some different printer, or they might need to attach one more time. There is some connection error, right? Port is not valid or something like that. So the status command can be interpreted by our interface itself. After that, third one is data output command. Cause the interface to respond by transferring data from bus into one of the its register. So whenever we'll enable that data transfer command, from here, right? This data line. This data line. So whenever it is unable, that is only also reflected with help of our interface only. In same way, data input, opposite of data output command. In this case, the interface receive an item of data from the peripheral and place it in the buffer register. So for example, we'll require some output information from this processor, or in case we require some input information from this keyboard. Both the way data input and output can be handled with help of interface only. Fine. So is it fine for you? Four types of command. This question can also ask in 1 or 2 mark. Everyone getting? Okay, fine. Mostly only these two students are replying, but when ma'am will ask about attendance, everyone is ready. Okay. Next is input output bus and memory bus. So see, we had seen sometimes we require simply input output bus just to have some data line, address line and control line. But when you want to store some data with respect to your memory, definitely you require some memory escape too, right? And in that case, if we are talking about the memory is also having their own data line, their own control line, their own address line too, right? So here you need to understand two terms, that what do you mean by IO, input output bus, that is IO bus, and memory bus, right? And how they both will distinguish. So first of all, they have written what is the main function of bus structure. So in the memory bus, it is for information transfer between your CPU and main memory. Okay, between your CPU and main memory. That is the first usage of memory bus, because here as we had used memory term, so we'll transfer information between CPU and memory. But in case of input output bus, then why you people are not telling? So after completion of one topic, you are able to know that thing. Thank you for the informing still. We discussed these four types of command: control status, data output and input with help of this figure. But I don't know how you are able to get the detail without this screen. Fine. Second one is input output bus and memory bus. So first, what is the function of bus? The first thing that we need to discuss is function of this bus structure. So using bus, we're able to transfer data between one place to another. So here one place is fixed, that is CPU, our processor, right? So in case of memory bus, we'll transfer data between CPU and main memory. And in case of IO bus, we'll transfer detail between CPU and IO devices. That is the main working, right? In memory bus, we'll transfer between CPU and main memory. And in IO bus, we'll transfer between CPU and I. So mainly three ways to communicate with processor bus, that is CPU with memory bus and IO bus. So here three types of architecture, or you can say organization, that you can provide when you need to establish this bus between your CPU and memory or I. Okay. So first one is, you can use two separate bus. One is for memory, one is for I. Right. So suppose you want to provide connection between CPU and memory, you can provide one separate bus. Suppose you want to provide connection between CPU and IO, then also you can provide one another separate bus, right? Second thing is you can use one common bus but separate control line for each function. So let's suppose you are having common bus, right? But that common bus is connected with IO as well as memory. So whenever you will have some input or output command from memory, then you are having some different control line which will only be responsible for to achieve or to forward command related to memory, right? And let's suppose we want to have some information related to input output devices, then also we'll have some different control line which are responsible to have receive or forward connection or command from input output towards the CPU, right? So common bus but having different control line. Now after that, third one is use one common bus with common control line for both the function. So here bus is also common as well as command are also common, right? Which will control connection between your CPU and memory as well as CPU and input output devices. Fine, so everyone clear with this? Okay, fine. Now the next is, yes, this difference is IMP. You can consider differentiate isolated IO and memory mapped I. So isolated IO, that means as the name suggests, here you are providing some individual input output devices for their own working. And in the second memory mapped IO, you will provide the IO which is having memory attached to communicate on every aspect, right? So as the name suggests, in isolated IO, separate input output read write control line in addition to memory read write control line. So in the isolated IO, we'll use some separate control line to provide the connection to provide the read and write line. Okay. Second is separate memory and input output address space. So as it is isolated IO, will provide separate line for the same. And as they are having separate line for the address space, definitely it will have distinct input and output instruction, right? So in the isolated IO, you can remember these 3 points. One is it will have separate read write control line. Second one, it will have separate address space. And third one is it will have separate or you can say distinct input and output instruction for each and every type of work. And exactly opposite in the case of memory map, the first point is a single set of read-write control line, no distinct between memory and input-output. So it is having single set which is responsible for read as well as write operation. Second point is memory and input-output addresses share the common address space. So here no individual address space as we had seen in the isolated IO will use common address space. The third one is no specific input or output instruction. So here we'll have common input output instruction whether in case of uh, memory or in case of input output devices. And fourth one is considerable flexibility in handling IO operation. So even though we'll use memory mapped IO, it is not like that we'll have some uh, some restriction in our instruction. No, we'll have enough flexibility that whatever is required, what type of operation will require, that can be entertained with help of this. Okay. So is it clear, students? Then we'll move forward. Okay. Second is example of input output interface. So see, earlier we had seen how input output interface, I mean how interface you can provide, right? But if we want to see more specifically this input output interface, then you might consider this example, right? Here one side will have CPU, another side will have IO devices. Between that will have some interface. Okay. So see here, at the side of input output devices, first of all, they have provided two port A and port B. That is nothing but you can consider as a two data register which will have input and output data. Okay. After that, one will use as a control register to have some control information to transfer from CPU towards the input output, and another is status word which will have different status that can be taken care by your input output devices, right? Apart from that, at the side of CPU we'll have one bus buffer. In that bus buffer we'll have different line like control line, status line, data line, right? After that we'll have one timing and control diagram, timing and control circuit. In that we'll have different signal. One is chip select, after that two is various register select, various read line and write line, right? So here that chip select and register select, these two, chip select and register select, that input will determine the address that assigned to your interface. Okay, this chip select and register select will have some addresses that will communicate towards the interface. Okay, after that, this 4 register will communicate directly with the input output devices, and again that will be attached to the our interface. This 4 register, port A, port B, control register and status register, these 4 are bidirectionally connected towards the interface. So if we'll have information from here, that also we can pass, and if we'll have information from here, that will also passed over there. Okay, so that is fine. Fine. So whenever we'll have some data, that input output data, if we want to transfer or if we want to receive, that can be transferred either on port A or on port B. If A is available, then we'll communicate with A. If B is available, then we'll communicate with B. Is it fine for you? So actually it is depend, right? If interface want to transfer or want to receive. So as per that we can enable our communication line in terms of port A as well as in terms of port B, right? After that, yes, that command whatever will get, that will pass to the input output devices, or you can say to from the input output devices with help of this interface. Now what type of command you can pass? So here they have simply illustrated one table, right? That is not fixed, but yes, you can provide this type of logic. One is chip select, one is register 1 and register 0. So let's suppose initially we'll have 0 values. So in that will not transfer anything. So that condition can be treated as a high impedance state. This word you might have heard in your chapter number 1 as well, in the topic of tri or 3-state buffer. After that, let's suppose only CS is equal to 1. So in that case, you can consider like port A will be enabled. So at that time port A will start its working either to receive or to transmit. Now same way if we'll have input like 101, so in that case port B will be active. Suppose we'll have instruction like 110, so control register will start its working, and suppose we'll have information like 111, then status register will start its working. So condition is chip register must be 1, right? Value of register 0 and 1 can be changed. So what is the description? See over here, the same thing which we discussed. It consists of two data register called ports, that means port A and port B, a control register, a status register, one bus buffer and timing and control. Port A, port B for data register, one control, one status. After that, this bus buffer, which is again bidirectional, because sometimes control line is active, sometimes status, sometimes data. So as per the requirement, it will be enabled. The interface communicate with the CPU through data bus, right? So this communicate with help of this interface. The chipset select and register select input determines the address which can be assigned to the interface. So these are the addresses, right, that can be provided with help of chip select and register select. After that, the four register communicate directly with the I/O device attached to the interface. This four register, port A, port B, control register and status register. If the interface connected to a printer, only output data is active, and if it serves as a reader data, then input line. See here, if we want to read some data, then read line will be active, and if we want to print something, then write line. Okay. After that, they have taken example of a magnetic disk unit transfer data in both direction, but not at the same time. So the interface can use bidirectional bus. Now you get this detail. Sometimes we want to fetch, sometimes we want to transmit, right? So we'll require bidirectional bus, but both the line cannot be active at the same time. Okay. After that, the control register receive control information from the CPU. Okay, fine. That is true. So any query in this topic, students? Now next that we need to transfer, that is asynchronous data transfer. So in that we'll have major two types of technique. First we'll start with the stop control and then we'll discuss the handshake. Fine, this asynchronous data transfer will start in the next. So any query in this? Up to this? It is fine, everyone? Okay, fine. Fine, then write down your enrollment number, everyone.